I wash my soul in the ocean, in the tears of God, I let it go.
Welcome to your 2021 video horoscopes with me, Lada from Astrolada. Thank you so much for choosing me to be astrologer for you for the year 2021. And what can I say? Just a quick summary. I'm delighted to say that 2021 will be way easier than 2020. You remember 2020, if you saw the videos that I created for 2020, I warned everyone this will be one of the toughest year ahead. For 2021, the action is moving from the cardinal signs like Aries, Capricorn, Cancer, and Libra, who had it the hardest, whether it was their ascendant, sun, or moon in 2020. It's moving to the fixed signs, which is Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, and Scorpio. And when I say action, it means they'll have life-changing events. They'll have something that takes them to the next level. But passing from one level to the other is always a bit more difficult. Especially fixed signs, they don't like changes so much. But again, it will be, I promise 2021 will be way easier generally for the world and each one of us. Just a few people will be a little bit more tested. And 2021 is when a new age for humanity starts, generally speaking. This is when Saturn and Jupiter start their new cycle for the first time in almost 800 years in an air sign. I mean, they kickstart this 200-year period. They met in the 80s in an air sign, but the last time they met in Aquarius was 1226, something like that, 800 years ago. So we'll start a brand new life, brand new era for humanity. You can check out my video, which is for free on YouTube, about the year 2021. For the whole world, there is new hope. Aquarius energy is coming in. There is a new hope for humanity, new future. Life will start splitting into society will start splitting into, not in a bad way, but in a way that instead of fighting and not seeing eye to eye, it will separate somehow. There will be people that want to live alternatively and people that want to follow the normal rules. But anyway, let's get back to you because those horoscopes are specific for you. So let me tell you what you need for those horoscopes in order to work for you. You need to find out your sun, moon, and ascendant signs. I want you to check all three of them. If you can't afford to buy all three, just listen to your ascendant sign at least. But you need to know your time of birth to listen to the ascendant sign. And you need to know the degree as well. And if you have time to watch all three videos, the ascendant, sun, and moon, then listen to the specific degrees when I speak about the moon and the sun especially. For the ascendant, pay attention to everything, the houses, whatever. For the sun and moon, especially pay attention if I mention your specific day of birth, if it's the sun, or the degree of the moon as well. The houses can also be relevant. Who will be affected most? Everyone feels affected by the ascendant sign, but you need to be very correct with your time of birth. Like if your mom told you between 2 and 3 o'clock, no, it's like you need 2:34. For example, PM. And within 2-3 minutes at least to have your correct time, or 5 at most. So listen to your ascendant sign and the degree, start with it. Then listen to your sun sign. And of course, with the sun sign, you just know which day you're born, but you can check the degree as well. Listen to your moon sign. If you're born during the day, which means before the sunset, while the sun was above the horizon, the sun sign is very important for you because the sun becomes your ruling light. If you're born at night, like I am, when the sun has set, you have to find out what day the sun set on the day you were born and rose, so when you know your time of birth, whether it was day or night. So if you're born at night, the moon, it will be very important for you because the moon becomes your queen, the light. So but I would advise, listen to three of those: ascendant, sun, and moon. If you're a woman, the moon sign is usually very important. If you're a man, the sun sign is usually very important. If you're a woman in a competitive career or who has her own business or who is very much into her career, the sun sign becomes very important because the sun sign is our goals, is our masculine side, taking decisions. Let me tell you what the difference, the subtle differences between listening to your ascendant, sun, and moon is. With the ascendant, it is the physical body and your fated events. They're kind of pre-recorded for you. You really see the ascendant sign in when you, if you have your correct time of birth, you would see it as basically as events that materialize, that are happen around you, and they've been already, usually they're like preset somehow. They're set in stone. The ascendant is the most material aspect of the whole horoscope. It's kind of like our path, our destiny, whatever you want to say, the destiny of the soul. It's a little bit, we still have free will to some extent, but the ascendant is one of the most set ones. So you'd see very material manifestations with the ascendant sign. With the moon sign, the moon is the soul and the feelings. So a lot of women, because women are more connected with their feelings, tend to actually resonate a lot with their moon sign. And they're like, yes, those things for the ascendant sign are happening, but what really, where my whole heart is and where my whole attention has been and where my whole excitement has been and my focus or pain or sadness, whatever, has been as per the moon sign prediction. So do check it out. While the sun sign is, and the moon sign is, again, the moon is connected to the past, so it's a little bit more karmic. It's something that has been maybe programmed for the soul before our birth, type of thing. While the sun sign is the spirit, where we have the most free will. And with the sun sign, people often resonate when they listen to their sun sign. They say, wow, it's so correct. Especially people, the more self-sufficient and independent you are, the more and how do I say, the more it's the sun is where we have the free will power. And this is where we can influence the sun sign prediction, the events, the most. And this is what usually our goals, our dreams are about. The sun is like this ideal of the spirit where you want to reach, something that feeds your spirit, so to speak. So that's why a lot of people, especially in the West or in more, where people have more free will generally in countries like that, to determine their life, to determine their direction in life, because there are a lot of countries you cannot still do that. Some countries are still set like 1,000 years back, in mentality. But where there is more free will, usually in the more developed countries, or then the sun is very powerful. People can feel the sun very powerful, especially people that, as I said, men feel the sun very strongly. Women who have their own goals, who have freedom to go after career and things like that, to create their own careers. And especially if you have a stellium of planets in the same sign as your sun. For example, I'm Aries sun, but I also have their Venus, Mercury, Mars. So then I would feel the prediction from the sun sign very, very strongly. Maybe not as strongly as the ascendant, but it will be up there. And with the sun sign prediction, we have the most ability, when you listen to it, to take the higher road, to use our free will to change things to the best manifestation possible. With the ascendant, with the moon, well, with the moon, if you can control your feelings, but it's harder to control your feelings. With the sun sign, if you can control your thoughts, it's easier to control your thoughts than your feelings. With the ascendant sign, it's kind of more like set. So I told you this. How do you find out what your sun, moon, and ascendant signs are? You can, let me share my screen with you. You can go to my website, astrolada.com, where you can find any other, astrolada.com. Here it is. You can find any other astrology website, but I have this free birth chart calculator. You can go there. You can enter your details, your name, whatever it is, your birth time. Let's say you're born, okay, maybe you're not 8 years old, but the minute, you don't need the second. Very few people know the second. Your town, I'll say New York, continued, so it's easier. And here from the drop-down menu, you find out which New York it is. Let's say there might be New York in Texas, Henderson, okay? Let's say I was born there. And this is what you get. It might look like alien, alien stuff to you. But all you need to do is go here, planetary details, and I want you to take those first three, ascendant, sun, and moon. You see those three. and write the degree and the sign. So this person that I invented has the ascendant in Taurus at 24 degrees. Don't look at the second number, the second row. These are the seconds. So just round it up, 24 degrees Taurus. The sun is at 16 Aries. Usually everyone knows their sun sign. This is the sun sign is the same, every year at the same time. And the moon sign of this person is Libra at 8 degrees. Write those down. And if you hear when you're watching Libra, for example, we mentioned Libras born with sun, moon, or ascendant from 3 till 9 degrees, they would feel this influence very strongly. Well, 8 degrees is within that influence. So pay attention what I'm talking about. You're going to feel, especially when I give specific degrees or days. If you're using for the moon, it will be a degree. And you hear your degree or that it's within the range, pay attention to that. You're going to feel this big time. The same with the sun sign, but with the sun sign, I also give the day you were born. For example, people that have degree at 16 Aries, they're born around the 4th or 5th of April. Every year is the same. The ascendant, I'll give the degrees again. So if I say if you're born Taurus, for Tauruses who have anything in degrees from say 12 to 26, and this person has a 24 degrees in Taurus, you will feel this influence, and so on and so on. If you don't hear your degree, just listen. Start with the ascendant sign. The whole prediction for the ascendant sign will, the houses. Then go through the sun sign if you're born during the day, the moon sign second, or second if you're born at night, especially if you're a woman, and end with one of the three and listen to the three of them and see which one you resonate the most with. See which one makes the most sense for you. Watch it again in the middle of the year, towards the end of the year, and you will figure out which planet actually is very strong. But always the ascendant is so important, guys, if you know your time of birth. And because anyway, I cannot fully give you specific reading. I just look at the whole sign, the whole Taurus I'm going to be speaking, or the whole Gemini. But there is a way for you to be following daily your personal transits like no one else in the world has them. It's again on the website, Personal Transit Calendar. You go there, you register. I already have an account. 50,000 people are using it, I think, already. For free. It's weekly, it's for free. But nowhere else in the world and I show you how to use it here. There is an instructional video how to use the transits. But here you put your details. You can put as many people as you want. You're gonna get free for them, or you can buy. You can buy for a year transits or for a month transits. A lot of the people that are subscribe for a month at a time, and you can just watch your specific transits here. They come out. No one else in the world will have the same transits as you on the same time, unless you have a twin born at the same place at the same time at the same minute as you. Otherwise, those transits will always be different. And you can go through each day of the year and see which transits you have. And you click and you read, and that will, you don't need my videos. But in those videos, what I strive to do, because a person has so many transits throughout the year. Look at that. This is just for 1 month. So many transits. How do you make sense of them? In those yearly videos, this is what I help you do, especially if you watch them for your ascendant, to a lesser degree, sun and moon, but they're still relevant. And I give you the bigger, fuller picture, instead of like separate, you have like, for example, look how many transits I'm currently having this day today. And, so, which one, but I give you like a summary of it, like wrap it up. All right. There you go. I think we're ready. If you have written your sun, moon, or ascendant, let's dive in. But before that, just a little quick prayer for God and to bless the year 2021 and to protect anyone. So, dear Father, Mother, Creators, dear Jesus, dear Mary, Buddha, Allah, whoever whoever has the higher power from whatever place they're praying in the world, turn towards your higher power, to the angels, to the exalted beings that are taking care of humanity, that are selflessly helping us every day, our guardian angels, our departed beloved ones. Thank you so much for protecting us, for keeping us sane during the year 2020, for raising our consciousness collectively during that year. And I ask you for this new age that starts from the year 2021, from this brave new world. Let it be tilted towards the positive. Let the balance go towards the positive. Let more and more souls wake up to the divine love, to brotherhood, to peace. We're entering the age of Aquarius full speed from the beginning of 2021. May God, your desire and your plan for the world be fulfilled through each one of us. May brotherhood, love, equality, fraternity come, compassion between each other rather than separation. And let everyone who is watching this video find out the most important information for them, reach their heart, reach their soul. Let them connect with the information that is most relevant for them, and let them be prepared and help them through the path, and help me be a good channel and a good channeler of your wisdom, of your knowledge, so I can connect the people with the right inspiration. Amen. All right, let's start. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising 2021. Capricorns, you're at the end of the tunnel. For the last 2 years, the universe has chosen you as the favorite to upgrade you, to give you new beginnings through tests, and to really put you under the pressure to make out a diamond out of the coal within you. And it's not an easy process. It's a process of that you were really put under pressure, that the circumstances might have been extremely austere around you because of Saturn being in your sign for 2 years. Not only that, but also Pluto was there, the conjunction of Saturn and Pluto. Jupiter was there in 2020. Hopefully it kind of protected you a bit more, gave you a bit more ability to put your head above the water, as they say. But still, Jupiter was extremely weak in Capricorn to help fully Capricorns. But there were a lot of new beginnings that I saw with many Capricorn rising or sun people, especially the later Capricorn born in 2020. It was extremely testing for them, basically born from the 12th of January till the end of January, because Saturn was passing there, because Mars was squaring there, because Pluto is in those degrees as well. So they were the later Capricorns, were especially, or the last 7-8 degrees of Capricorns were especially very challenged in 2020. But I saw some amazing stories. I saw some amazing developments with very close friends that I have Capricorn. There is a lady with Capricorn Sun and Ascendant, and during the last 2 years, she really especially in the last 1 year, she started a new business. She came into her strength. She paid a lot of attention to improving her physical appearance, to strengthening her body, because Saturn through your sign, especially because Saturn through your sign, usually Capricorns know how to deal with this energy and they tend to become more in control. But Capricorns that resist self-discipline, that resisted and that kind of instead of responding to those challenges by giving the best they can, if they try to escape those responsibilities and those challenges that were given to them in the past 1-2 years, they might have suffered more. And I saw some more difficult stories of Capricorns. I saw stories where health problems appeared because of as a result of lifestyle choices before. Stresses, psychological, emotional, mental tensions, a lot of restrictions that happened to them. And again, it was a push to change your life. And Saturn transiting your sign together with Jupiter in the past 1 year was about new beginnings.
So you had to, like I said, I saw a few Capricorns that really did amazing new beginnings. They started their new businesses. They came into their power, so to speak. They were put into, there were a lot of big changes in lives of Capricorns that happened. Sometimes challenging, but you see, at the end, you see the silver lining. Everyone does. And after those big challenges and those big new beginnings that were happening, now all the planets are basically, almost all planets without Pluto, are leaving Capricorn alone to take a breather. So a lot of you might feel like the clouds are dispersing above you, or the difficult circumstances, the challenging circumstances, or maybe there were too many responsibilities for you, while Saturn was transiting your sign. Some of you had to work extra hard. Some of you took on more work than other times. Other people, I saw people that gradually grew their businesses during that time, but it required a lot of sacrifice, a lot of personal time, and starting from the bottom, so to speak, restructuring their life, restructuring their health. And these are difficult things to do, but they all can have beautiful results. And when Saturn is leaving now your sign, the whole 2021 and 2022, it's not going to come to your sign for 30 years. So don't worry. Like, all the big changes happen. And till 2021, till 2021, so the last 2 years, 2008, 19, 18, and 20, you had a chance to give direction of your life according to where you want your life to go. You had you could involve your willpower and vision to direct circumstances where you want it, even though they were more challenging. But when Saturn transits and enters your second house, now you're going to be consolidating those new beginnings that you started. Now you're going to be trying to, whatever new things you created for the last 2 years, you're going to try to make them profitable. You're going to try to make them solid and stable, to maintain them, to give them continuance. Because so many of you started new beginnings in your life, whether by will or, without, or by external force. Each one learns in a different way. These new beginnings that you started, now you're gonna strive to create stability in your life. So no longer big surprises for Capricorns, no longer, let's say, being tested to and pushed in the direction of a new beginning. And almost like the hard work that you've done in the last 2 years, psychologically, emotionally, or physically, now it's going to start giving results, because the second sign from any sign is the sign of seeing the results, and those planets, Saturn, Jupiter, were in your first house, initiating something new, working through the difficulties, building the new foundations of something in your life. But while you're building foundations, it takes 3 times longer to build foundations, but you don't see the results yet. And then after that, it takes just 1/3 of the time to see the rest of the building go up. And what you were doing was digging and building those foundations, the hard work that often didn't even give results yet, might have not been appreciated, but there was for many Capricorns a strong mission and a vision for something new. And when Saturn and Jupiter, from already the end of 2020 and the whole 2021, they're going to be in your second house, this is time when you're going to build the rest of the house, when you're going to see the results. The second from everything is the kind of like the harvest of the efforts you did in the first house. And the second house is particularly known as being connected to financial resources and financial stability. It's an Artha house, as they call it in ancient. Artha means material results. So your focus will shift from kind of almost survival mode when Saturn transits the first house, or your sun or moon, especially when it transits the moon, is emotionally very hard. And it's emotionally very trying and sometimes quite lonely. With the sun, if Saturn has been transiting your sun at some time in the last 2 years and more, you have to restructure your career. You have to get very serious and mature about your goals. Maybe you had some decreased vitality as well happens. With the ascendant is the physical appearance, the health of the body that someone focused. Those powerful new beginnings in life as well. But again, through a lot of self-control and self-regulation and hard work. And now Saturn is moving, and Saturn rules you guys. So circumstances will stop being as restrictive, and you're not going to feel so overwhelmed with duties and responsibilities. Your mood will start brightening up now, because Saturn is moving into a positive sign. I'm not saying negative means bad, male sign, where and Saturn is moving in its favorite sign. So wherever Saturn goes, it's where you go. So Saturn for the next 2 years will be in Aquarius, where according to ancient astrology, it feels happiest, because Saturn is a day planet and likes to be in a day sign, while Capricorn is a night sign. Even though Saturn rules it, while it was there, it tends to give a little bit more of its harder side of duties, responsibilities, restrictions, maturity, seeing karmic results very fast, some important separation and endings and new beginnings happen, all of those things. But when Saturn, enter Aquarius, basically, the energy will lighten up, will brighten up. Saturn's heaviness in Capricorn will just start dissipating, and you feel Aquarius is the sign that makes you look up to the future, that makes you start dreaming big, is the sign of dreams and fulfilling your desires. Starts you to feel like the air is rarefied. It's no longer you're flying, like it's no longer feeling like you're trying to walk through rocks, so to speak. Now you're gonna feel like you're gliding more, like, and Aquarius is much faster and sign that moves faster energetically. It's an air sign, much rarer rather than the earth Capricorns, like wading through stones and rocks, and but Aquarius is like the wide open spaces air, so you will be like, I can breathe. And you see that the theme for the whole world in the last 1 year when Saturn was in Capricorn was I can't breathe. So many of those themes, masks, and what happened with George Floyd or whatever, I can't breathe. Saturn in Capricorn is very suffocating. But you did it, Capricorns. Well done. You passed the biggest test. And according to how you dealt with this big test, did you stand up to those challenges? Did you mature up? Did you whatever you did, even if it was hard work, even if you feel like, well, I didn't do anything, no, you did a lot of hard stuff. Even if you have to overcome something, for example, you did it, and now the results will come. The reaping process, the rewards, and a lot of them might be financial. And the focus when Saturn and Jupiter enters Aquarius is about creating material security, consolidating your finances, consolidating what you started as well, any other actions. And rather than starting brand new things anymore, it's more like now you're gonna grow those things. Second house, the house of growth, nurturing, to nurture, just like second house rules eating and how we sustain our body. So when Saturn goes there, whatever you started, whatever new projects, the first house, whatever new beginnings, you're gonna sustain it. You're gonna put the efforts to grow it, to kind of continue that thing. And the thing is that this Saturn-Jupiter conjunction in your second house that happens at the end of 2020 will be valid for the next 20 years. And it's starting a new social order for humanity. These are the two planets that show what your role in society will be for the next 20 years. And for Capricorns, it means that they'll be like the bank and the storehouse of energy and the storehouse of material resources for collectively for the world. A lot of Capricorns will see already from 2021, they'll start something that might bring to them financial growth for the next 10 to 20 years even. And not only that, but it can put them in some important roles over the next 20 years, maybe not immediately from 2021, but you put the seeds then in 2021 or the end of 2020. You put the seeds of something that you do that will put you down the road during this 20-year cycle in a position where you become authority of resources and finances, of resourcefulness, that you become the go-to, for matters concerning sustainability, matters concerning storage, matters concerning material success. Almost like you'll be the teacher of others how to have material success. A lot of you will have a big story of material success. A lot of you will become the biggest money earners as well, or the biggest storers of valuables, and people who can, and you'll be the ones that can appreciate the values, the valuable things in the next 20 years, because every time Saturn and Jupiter conjunct somewhere, new set of values come collectively, what we consider valuable materially and aesthetically, and you'll be the leading force in that, Capricorns. Second house rules not only money, it rules our tastes in food, our tastes in what is beautiful, what is fashionable, what is attractive, for art, for anything that for art, for music even. So our tastes collectively, and you will be the person that in some of you Capricorns will be the people, whether you're an artist, whether you're a musician, whether you're a business person, you'll have your pulse on the collective. And not only you have the pulse, but you'll be the one setting those trends. What is valuable? What is attractive? What is the money trends? Somehow you have your pulse on the money trends. A lot of you can create new such styles of beauty, of fashion, of foods, of values. Second house on a deep level is the values generally of society. And you'll be the trendsetter of values, collectively or on a smaller level. And because Aquarius is very avant-garde and very future-oriented sign. And your second house is Aquarius. So you'd come up with original new ideas for financial economic participation. Somehow something that happens around 2021 as ideas, as acquaintances, even whatever you want, it doesn't have to necessarily give the results now, but it will place you in this position that for the next 10 years you can be growing, actually even 20, that you can be growing in those fields, connected with food, connected with art, connected with valuables, connected with money, connected to what is the new styles, the new values of humanity, you know, and they will be quite progressive as well. And you notice yourself changing from this more traditional Capricorn energy, because that's naturally Capricorn, it's more traditional, but your planet is moving to this avant-garde, progressive, and kind of more open-minded sign, Aquarius. Freedom is the sign of Aquarius. And you'll notice yourself, and it will be squared 3 times by Uranus. So you'll be like getting the impulses of Uranus through Uranus activating your Saturn very strongly. Plus Uranus will be trining your sign. So it will be so different than 2019, 2020, when you were in the grips of Saturnian energy, becoming more conservative, becoming more, possibly a lot of self-restraint, a lot of having to do things traditionally, or take the steps like the, how is it called, the lawful steps. Anytime you veered off the right path, immediately there were repercussions, immediately there were consequences. Like you were being observed by the universe, but that energy of the universe that is like an old strict teacher with the ruler, pam, pam, pam. You gotta do it right. Like, I'm gonna deal with you for 2 years. And you know, and now it's like, okay, rewards. Or now, okay, you've learned your lessons, you've repeated over and over, you did the hard work, the difficult teacher energy is retreating, and you're entering this Aquarius energy, this kind of a innovative, future-oriented, way more open-minded, way more freedom-loving. You're gonna allow yourself more things than other times, and without repercussions. Plus, Uranus squaring Saturn, it can indicate that you can even take risks and do some crazy stuff that you normally feel worried to do, that you normally feel too, so self-restrained to do, or that there were blockages about. Now, some of you might do some crazy stuff like, go on a trip around the world, or that can disturb the status quo. It can disturb definitely a little bit the stability, but you're working towards material stability. With Saturn in the second house, but Uranus squaring it, there will be some, in order for you to implement that material stability, you have to, in the long run, you need to take some risks first. And that's the energy of Uranus, experimenting, risks. And Uranus is in your 5th house, making the square from there. This is original ideas, creative businesses, new business ideas of stuff, 5th house rules speculative investments. So some of you might take risks in that. That might feel as if in 2021 and 22 they're a little bit shaky, a little bit too crazy. But you might feel like doing all those things and basically risking for a creative idea of yours. And yes, it's a square. Yes, it can mean it destabilizes the stability, destabilizes it requires you to find alternative ways rather than the old-fashioned ways of achieving the stability. You have to be willing to come out of your comfort zone and do things that are too innovative. So you might have financially to introduce, because Saturn is in the financial house, to introduce new technologies, Uranus to introduce new ideas, to introduce new enterprises, to introduce some kind of risky side to it. Plus, you might even want to implement, if you're on a salary, for example, like a secondary, like a business idea, like a secondary income thing, or like a 5th house is your creative ideas, your original creative ideas that you created yourself, that you can want to have more freedom there, like an independent freelancer there as well. And you have to incorporate that somehow into the financial stability of your life as well. There can be some expenses because of the Uranus square Saturn in your 2nd house, connected to investing in same creative projects, even some risky investments, as I said, in some hard, kind of grand idea, or because of expenses connected to having more fun, almost like, screw it, I'm just gonna break up with this kind of, survival energy that you've had till now. I'm gonna go a bit crazy and have fun. Uranus is in the 5th house. Uranus is wild. Uranus doesn't follow rules, squares your planet, and it's like, I've had enough of, holding up the front and being the responsible and the mature one for the last few years. Now I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna go have fun. I'm gonna start dating people that are very different than me. Uranus in the 5th house square Saturn. And that can disturb your peace of mind, but it's going to be exciting. That can really break you out of old patterns, like some romantic adventure or some, romantic interest or a new hobby. The other meaning of 5th house is new hobbies, like some new exciting hobby that might feel like it's quite hard to integrate into your life because it's so different that you never ever had, or some new passion of any sort, new creative idea and passion that you're trying to integrate into your life, and that can shake up the status quo again. Even for a little bit, it can destabilize your finances and resources. But ultimately, because Saturn and Jupiter are there for 2021 and Saturn into 2022, the whole one, its ultimate goal is to create more stable finances and resources, but by taking some risks, especially in 2021. And but again, they have to be controlled risk, because Saturn is involved. Saturn is in the 2nd house. Jupiter will bring opportunities financially as well. But Saturn there says you have to test 3 times and measure 3 times before you cut. While Uranus says, cut, don't measure. So you have to balance both these two, jump, put all your investments in this, in this thing. Uranus in the 5th house, speculative investment. You're like, go put everything now here on this whatever investment. But Saturn in the 2nd, where your finances and resources is, we gotta still follow rules, and we gotta check our sources, and and make sure that's the right thing. So you have to do both. You can't, if you have an impulse just to go crazily and put all your money or spend on something, please research before that. Saturn in the 2nd house. Please advise someone. The 2nd house can indicate like financial advisors and stuff as well. And I would advise, and you see that you're becoming more open-minded about such experimentation as well. But again, because Saturn is in the 2nd house, you need to show maturity, and you need to show that you did your homework, let's say there. No get-rich-quick schemes. It's not going to happen. But well thought out, well thought out, well researched, and where you also put your personal efforts, investment, or financial endeavors with a dose, with a pinch of a risk even there because of Uranus, especially with crazy, more innovative ideas, no more technologically progressed ones. You can combine both and finally have a great result, but those energies are there. But even on a personal level, not only financial, your tastes will be changing. What you find money important for, your priorities in finances will be changing. Some of you might decide to have to save for something. Second house is when Saturn transits, and Jupiter, when you learn to control your finances better. And I think some of you will do some amazing financial investments because Saturn is very strong in Aquarius. It's very happy there, but the results of seeing it might take a couple of years until Saturn comes out of the second house. But I don't know, maybe already in 2021 you'll start seeing results because Jupiter is there. Okay, let's not forget that Jupiter gives results immediately. But I would advise with financial activities, step by step, gradually, new opportunities will appear because of Jupiter. A lot of you might want to get educated very well about financial intelligence. This is Jupiter knowledge. They can take courses on financial management, on investment, on growing anything. Second house is not only money, but how to grow anything, how to nurture and persevere and deal with resources in an intelligent way. A lot of you might take courses about, which are combination of Jupiter and Saturn about financial and business matters. And that means Jupiter's positive mindset, having the knowledge about how to run such things, financial, business, material things. While Saturn is the hard work and practical steps to it. So you have to combine both. If it was only Jupiter transiting your second house, I would say you can now take courses about visualization for money and expanding your belief, how much you believe you're worthy. But because Saturn is there, you'd also have to take the practical steps. So you have to combine both. And believe me, by the end of 2021, you'd have a totally new self-worth. That's the deep meaning of the second house. You'd see yourself, if you were underestimating yourself, you'd have a newfound, more real, more real self-value of what you're capable of, and expand it to some extent, gradually, through your own efforts. Jupiter expands, Saturn is through your own efforts, your self-worth, self-value. Some of you might even decide, to change prices if you have your own business for example, Saturn just wants to keep quality, while Jupiter wants to expand. So you can raise prices, so you can lose some of the less, let's say, services that are cheaper, but they're more hassle. So, but attract more quality clients and more quality, offer more quality services of some sort, But your self-value, self-worth is going to change. Some of you would have a new salary by the end of the year if you're working for someone else. And I believe it's going to be for the positive because of Jupiter being there, because Jupiter always, even though it's weaker than Saturn, but still. And you cannot get more money without your personal efforts in 2021. But if you put your personal effort, Saturn, in your own hard work, if you don't try to do it by some, fast swing or whatever, then you can have, by the end of 2021 and even by 2022, when Saturn comes out of your second house, you can have like double, tripled, whatever your income, and created a lot more security. But one of the things Saturn can do is also, if you have been irresponsible with finances, if you are living day for day, it has to teach you how to respect resources and finances more. Usually Capricorns don't have this problem, but there are cases like that. And it's no judgment on you, But it's definitely Saturn's overall influence for the next 2 years is to learn you to structure, to do better budget. And as I said, some of you might be triggered into that because they want to save for something. They want to buy something. They want to invest in something in the future. And because of that, they learn to control their spending more, their resources, to be more conscious of what goes in their bank, in and out, of possessions that they have, recycle, whatever. Others might be forced from outside to make those actions, because of outer circumstances of some sort. But again, the ultimate goal is that by the end of those 2-year periods, stay of Saturn in your second house, despite of possible limitations at certain moment and challenges, because Saturn teaches us by challenges, and having to repeat over and over and over those lessons, I believe that by the end of this period, a lot of you Capricorns will emerge with very stable, very good and improved finances and resources. A lot of you can change your attitude towards resources by becoming, for example, taking more care of electricity, of waste, of becoming way more conscious. I think a lot of Capricorns in the next 20 years will be one of the biggest leaders in such fields about preservation of resources, about taking care of nature. The second house is that. What we have available as resources around us, the air, the water, the wind, the food. You'll be like a master. You are developing in the next 2 years like a master degree in the school of life, how to manage those resources on our planet. And you can teach others about that. A lot of you might become very conscious about the planet, the jungles, whatever. The second house rules energy sources. Just like food is our energy source for the body, for the whole world, it's all kind of energy sources. Capricorns might enter such roles that they're the innovators in energy sources. And if you can make any investment, if you're someone with financial possibility to invest something in new sources of energy, I think it might be very profitable for Capricorn. Any storehouses is the second house. Well, what stores energy? It might be the atoms, atomic energy, or it might be air, wind, everything, or new technologies, new devices that are coming. And some of you might even have very successful businesses in such matters, and be such a kind of a respected figure in such fields, or just might get interested in such matters. Very conscious for resources, reserves. Others might become like a master figure of appreciating value, say someone at Christie's or whatever. But anyway, let's not go too wild. Also, the second house indicates food, what we eat. And a lot of Capricorns over the next 2 years, especially very strongly in 2021, might change their eating habits like never before. They might have the willpower, the determination to really transform, because the second house is the food we eat and what we store in our body. So it is connected to weight. And I will always remember when Saturn was transiting my second house from the ascendant, I had the perfect body. I created the perfect body over those 2 years. I got so interested in nutrition. I got so interested in how to maintain and sustain the body. Second house is that, and what to eat. I even did for 2 years during that duration something called divided eating. So you have a lot more control to limit your eating, for example, with Capricorn. But Jupiter is there, so Jupiter will give you not just nutritional deficiency of you limiting yourself and making it very hard, but it will give you the enthusiasm to do that, the resources, the knowledge, the right information, how to do that, to transform how you eat. So there might be a process of some elimination of certain food groups which Saturn can give, but also new knowledge that you can add new opportunities and new being open to trying new things there. So for example, if you only eat meat and potatoes, there are people like that, and now you might have to limit your meat consumption or decide to do it and instead start introducing other fruits and vegetables. And Jupiter brings the new, that you're more open to such things, while Saturn allows you for restriction. And I've seen sometimes people can be dealing with health, with eating disorders, but if you've been having it for a while, when Saturn and Jupiter come there, first it can escalate, only so it can be addressed, because it needs to become so present in your mind so you can address it. So yeah, I was eating like separate food groups when Saturn was in my second house, and I lost a lot of weight. I had the perfect body, but I was a bit obsessing over it. It wasn't healthy. Jupiter was not there like it will be for you. to give you the wisdom of how to substitute it. Like, for example, I would just eat 3 pounds of potatoes. It's kind of, I was going to an extreme of this type of stuff. Still, it was great though. I had the best body ever. And so if you've always wanted to make such changes, you'll see sometimes, for some of you, maybe in 2021, others 2022. Saturn is there for the 2 years. You'll be able to do exactly that. Possessions, resources, you might get rid of a lot of things that are no longer necessary in your life and put new things, and say change your wardrobe. Throw out or reclaim old clothes and revive them as well. But usually Saturn likes to declutter when it's in the second house. If it was only Saturn you would declutter, you'd prefer more minimalistic styles, more kind of clean stuff. But because Jupiter is also there, you can declutter the old and bring in new. And new styles and new trends around you in possessions and, everything that's around you. So very interesting. A lot of new ideas coming through money, through resources, through what to put in your body, what you eat, I also seen people are able to restrict harmful substances that they put in their body when Saturn transits there. Second house is teeth though. You have to take care of your teeth. You have to maybe go to the dentist or something like that, do some dental work there, and it's gonna be good. Well, let's see what else is happening. From the middle of 2020 till the end of 2021, the nodes of the moon, which cause the eclipses, have changed signs. And the North Node has gone into your 6th house from the middle of 2020 and will stay there the whole 2021, while the South Node, which is always opposite, is in your 12th house. So the whole 2020, you can develop that area of your life where the North Node is, while letting go of that area in your life where the South Node is. The South Node is to excrete, to let go. The North Node is to become passionate, obsessed about something almost. Quite ambitious. North Node raises ambitions. And almost like the mentality, any means is excused as long as I get what I have, what I want. So the 6th house, I just had that, so I can give you first-hand experience. I had it for 1.5 years. Well, you can definitely workload can increase, but almost like you desire to work more. Rahu, it's like it increase, just like Saturn can bring some new financial responsibilities there that you need to manage. But Rahu in the 6th house can make you very ambitious to work extra. And you see how those strong influences, Saturn, Jupiter in the 2nd and Rahu in the 6th, they're helping each other. So a part of how you're going to achieve this financial strength is that you're going to actually, the universe is giving you this passion to work more, this desire, a bit maybe workaholic for moments. 6th house rules debt. Rahu wants to, to go tackle that debt, even take more debt somehow. But somehow when Rahu is in the 6th house, taking debt can also become financially productive in the long run somehow. But to tackle such matters, 6th house is, if you have employees, you can become way more, your employees can become way more initiative, for example. Like when I have, and you can get more employees. For example, in the past 1.5 years, I had Rahu transiting my 6th house, and I hired 3 people to work for the company. And before I was doing everything alone, but 6th house is to have someone help you. Employees, so you can expand number of employees. That's one thing. I also never had home help. 6th house is like someone that nannies, gardeners and stuff. Well, I employed 3 or 4 different nannies. They never worked out fully, but they helped me at the right moment. They didn't stay with me forever because Rahu is kind of temporary. When it moves away, maybe it's not gonna be so anymore. But you can find someone to fix your house or to do something around you. Help with cleaning and help with children or whatever. Or you can develop a lot of passion for errands. You can be you can be, Rahu multiplies and magnifies whatever it passes through in the sixth house is duties, responsibilities, daily responsibilities and duties. So you can, you know, just get passionate about cleaning or about ordering, about organizing, passionate about, or multiply those responsibilities, definitely, about any kind of purification and any kind of cleansing activities. So one thing that happened for me was I did that, plus I became extremely obsessed with nutrients, extremely obsessed with supplements. Sixth house is the house of health as well, how you maintain your health. And becoming quite, sixth house rules medicine, rules biology, rules nutrition as well, is the energy of Virgo. So I became proficient in supplements. I started supplementing and I was able to solve a long-standing issue health-wise, mentally, through supplements. For a year and a half, I explored them, vitamins, minerals, so you can become passionate about such things. Sixth house is physical dependence, chemical dependence on substances. 12th house is psychological, mental dependence, addictions. Addiction has two sides, the physical dependence and the psychological kind of yearning, craving, wanting to escape reality. When you fix the physical, usually this one is the harder after that to fix the 12th house, like the, you know, the emotional connection, the attachment. But now you have both Ketu and Rahu in this axis. So the next 1 year, I can see that a lot of Capricorn rising, moon people, to a lesser degree sun people, but they can get rid, because the South Node gets rid of whatever it is. Get rid of an emotional attachment, psychological emotional attachment. Release more and more of such psychological attachment or the need to escape reality, because they delve into daily responsibilities, because work becomes more exciting for them or more demanding for them as well, work responsibilities. But also with Rahu, they can learn to try and fix the physical side of an addiction or mental imbalance or health imbalance by supplements, by something that is tangible, you know, because sixth house rules other, for example, micronutrients and things like that. And, you know, all addictions, they first start, if you want to have success with here, with the psychological, emotional side, you need to fix out the nutritional side. And you're going to learn that very strongly over the next year. Maybe you're already on that path because the North Node has been there. And if you fix the mental imbalances with nutrition, a lot of depressions, a lot of anxieties, a lot of all such instabilities, psychological, emotional, physical, they're due to nutritional deficiencies. You're going to become passionate about that, about your health. You're going to explore, you're going to learn. Believe me, I thought that I was naturally a nervous person, but while Rahu transited my sixth house, I started experimenting with supplements. It turned out I was severely deficient from magnesium and vitamin B. And when I started taking them, I'm zen, chill as fuck, as they say. I'm just like, and I for years, I medicated my anxiety and my nervousness and my stress proneness with drinking alcohol, which actually depleted even more those substances, exacerbated it. And I learned so much about drinking. I wasn't a daily drinker, but like at the end of a hard work, I'll be like, go all out. And I only felt good when I'm high and, you know, drinking. So it's, and I learned so much with sixth house, like you learn, you become voracious, you study, you just take more and more. Is the dragon's head. You try alternative methods, you experiment. The dragon's head, the Rahu, or North Node, as we know it in astrology, you're willing to experiment and try a different path, to break an addiction, to break a difficult health habit, to break through some chronic life situation that has been putting you out of balance. You know, sixth house is the house, you know, where there is no balance. It's right before. The seventh house is the house of balance, and the sixth house is the 12th from it, so it's a loss of balance. So imbalance situations, which is illnesses, addictions, mental dysfunction, mental imbalances, mental states of any sort. So you're going to get very passionate about learning to correct that. And learning to correct it very likely through some kind of For a little bit, you might leave behind the spiritual correction ways, because for years I was trying only through spiritual means, through, to correct those health issues. But God says, I've given you a body. You have to address the physical thing, Yes, I can make miracles for you if you pray, but how I can make miracles for you is to direct you to the right information. Sixth house is practical knowledge. Is the energy of Virgo. Do your research, practical information, and you can sort out those problems, any health imbalances, mental imbalances. And Rahu allows you to a little bit, and South Node in the 12th house, to detach from. You can do your prayers there. Yes, South Node in the 12th house is very spiritual. You can try, you can receive some help from there. But Rahu in the 6th house is like, learn, do your research, do the hard work. You have to do the hard work. And you have to address the physical body and the physical elements as well. Meditation only will not help everyone with mental imbalances, or health imbalances. You need to, and Rahu will give you those opportunities to try new healing methods, to try new lifestyles, health lifestyles. Rahu is something new, something progressive. But initially it can increase addictive tendencies, because Rahu can intensify those things until you reach a tipping point and you dive into that and you start solving it with your own effort. 6th house is another house of personal effort. So yeah, breakthroughs, guys, there. Also, another thing that the 6th house is, we talked about work. You can have more work. You can get more passionate about it. I think we said that. Oh, if you're in any fields that has to do with health, any field that has to do with nutrition, with physical exercise, with improving the mental or physical health, any work that is connected to social, or business of such sort, which is connected, if you're in the military, if you're a lawyer, the 6th house, where you're in situations that there is no balance, that is, there is accusation and blaming. That's why what lawyers are in, often, not all lawyers, but certain lawyers, say divorce lawyers, 6th house rules divorce and stuff like that, or anywhere where they're fighting and arguing. 6th house is animosity. So these things can intensify. You can feel like you're attracting more people that are in animosity kind of stage, or that they're having life problems around them, because Rahu magnifies whatever it transits. So it will, maybe around you, you'll notice more people with problems like that, like victimization, being blamed, or this kind of state of mind, or very negative critical thinking sometimes. But that only happens because the universe wants to, with the environment around you, to increase your awareness and your focus on such matters, so you can start trying to correct such issues in your own life. Because, our own vibration is that Rahu intensifies those imbalanced situations that we naturally have within us, our own self-victimizing voice, our own critical, blaming attitudes, victim attitudes, our own life is hard and, and everyone sucks attitudes, and everyone is my enemy, I'm gonna, type of attitudes. Well, Rahu will intensify them, because, and you notice, especially by such people around you, and critical and so on, antagonistic, but only so you can address those things within you. And, you have 1 year more to work on that. How can I say it? Oh, I survived it. It's like, I was working. And also, if you're in a career that is working with, for example, people that are socially marginalized, or social services. 6th house is social services. So in any ministry of service, this can be great. You can become passionate about helping those in need when Rahu transits the 6th house, or just something, or small thing like helping those that can't learn to read, or helping those with that are poor. 6th house is the poor, the ignorant, those that are in more difficult circumstances than you. Let's say it like that. Just like your subordinates, not that they're in more difficult, but anyone with a little bit lower status than you. It might be low status because they have, compared to, they have more problems in your relationships than you, or because they work for you, or because they are less healthy than you, whatever, or because they live in a more difficult environment type of thing. Well, you'll become passionate to get involved with such people, to help, to try and correct such wrongs, for example. And any careers that already deal with that, being a nurse, being a, litigator, lawyer type of thing, working as a police officer, they always go to fix conflicts there. Sixth house wants to fix problems. So any such careers or social, did I say that? I said it. Social services, medical, helping out, helping improve the health of others, supplements, pharmaceutical, fitness instructors, nutritionists, they can have really prosperous year because of Rahu. They can multiply their business, it can make their business grow, their workload to grow, some breakthroughs. Rahu can give sudden jumps, sudden growth, maybe using new technology of some sort as well, and having your message heard there. It's in Gemini, so if you're in any such businesses, these can grow, expand. But anyway, any kind of work, it's kind of like you can expand and grow there because Rahu transiting the sixth house. All right, and it's as if sometimes when the South Node transits the 12th house, it's like you don't have enough time to rest though, and enough time to escape reality sometimes. But it doesn't block you from traveling and things like that. I don't think so. Ketu is not like a blockage. So you're trying to balance, and you're going to succeed very likely, some unbalanced situation in your life, to put more order in it, more purity. You can get passionate about juicing, detoxing and stuff like that as well, fixing your health. All right, and especially around the eclipses, you can feel this strongly. The eclipses are happening in May 26th, June the 20th, November the 17th, December the 4th. These are the eclipses that are happening on the axis of your 6th and 12th houses. So it can indicate, for example, a new job, eclipse in the 6th house, a new work project around that time, completing of a work project, ending, completing during the full moons, eclipses. So it doesn't always happen on an eclipse, but that's when it intensifies a lot. So those themes about work, health, it happens around, the full moon and new moon eclipses, again, May 26th, June the 10th, November the 17th, and December the 4th. But still, the whole year, because the eclipses fall there, the whole year, it's definitely you're working on such issues. You're working on such matters, basically. So at the end of this year, a lot of you might have found a new job or an extra job, Rahu in the 6th house. A lot of you might have hired more people. A lot of you might have learned new health habits. A lot of you might have, we talked about that. I'm not gonna repeat it again. But again, you're dealing with Rahu in the 6th house, material, sorting the material life, putting more order, sorting the physical health as well. All right, and then we have to see where Mercury goes retrograde. Mercury goes retrograde in the material houses, the 2nd house of money and resources, in the 6th house after that, 3 times it becomes retrograde, of work, responsibilities, and in the 10th house of reputation, career. So you see, the universe is telling you, Capricorns, this whole year, I'm going to help you sort out your financial matters, your material matters, your career. It's going to be all about that, to progress there, to expand, to grow, to learn valuable lessons. And if you really output, you'd say, what about love? What about fun? What about all those things? Yes, there will be that as well, but I want you to approach this year with a very practical head on you, with the intention to sort out your finances, to grow there, your career, your work, because this is when you can have the biggest impact, especially if your ascendant is in Capricorn. Okay, the sun as well, possibly, sun and moon as well, but the ascendant in particular. So you'll be able to have this security, this resources more in life, so you can enjoy after that life to the fullest. And you know, from 2021, Jupiter enters your third house, house of fulfillment of desires. In 2023 in particular, Saturn enters your third house, where you start fulfilling the most selfish desires, like we say. But first, like, approach the next 1 year with the thought of, I'm gonna put secure structure around me. I'm gonna work hard. I'm gonna or not necessarily harder, wiser, smarter, and I'm gonna build my empire, let's say, or I'm gonna figure out what how to be useful, how to be put order in my life, you know, take care of those material things, and that's what you'll be very successful at. So the first Mercury retrograde is happening in the first 20 days of February, from the end of January, so basically the first 20 days of February. Let me see where I put it, my Mercury retrograde period. Yeah, January. And it's happening in your second house. So again, this theme of finances, of resources, of what's valuable, becomes extremely important here. You work extra hard with your intelligence, with your mind, with your skills, maybe to create more security of finances, maybe some project that you're putting finishing touches or editing that you're gonna put out there, or maybe some, you know, maybe you are rebudgeting, refinancing, reimagining your finances, working on some project that will create more financial stability, but having to redo it, and, you know, type of thing. I would advise you, when Mercury is retrograde in your second house, don't take risks with finances too much. There might be certain surprises when it comes to finances around the time Mercury goes retrograde, the end of January type of thing, or during the retrograde period, where certain expenses that you'll have to address, or you might decide to reinvest, and with certain investments that you've put, you might have to change something there, you know. There can be some shift in how you perceive your value mentally, and decide to change prices or things like that. You might decide to really dig deep into nutrition around that time, research, investigate, prepare a plan, start eliminating and testing different foods as well, making a plan how to change your food, or even your mind getting rewired. Mercury is the mind, how you perceive food, how you perceive resources, how you perceive money. So if there's some stresses financially during Mercury retrograde, it's the perfect time to fix the problems there, you know. And sometimes you yourself might decide, okay, I'm gonna change prices, so I'm gonna try and work harder so I have better salary after that. You might be working on some project that when Mercury turns direct, it will give you more money after that. It's usually good in the long term for finances, even though it's stressful during the retrograde period, because you have to shift something, you have to change something, you know. Then Mercury goes retrograde in your sixth house, and that happens from May 29th till June 22nd, so most of June. So again, it intensifies those issues of the sixth house again. What are we talking about? It's just like such a practical year for you that you can do those. So you can re-examine a career that you have, a job. You can decide to reevaluate, is this the right, you know, employees that I have? Or you might have some project with employees or people at your work that requires extra efforts, lots of clarifying conversations, fixing something, redoing it a few times. Any kind of work that you're doing, it requires you to be more conscious, more present, and responsibilities from the past you haven't fulfilled, they come back to be fixed, or some old debt has to be repaid, or that you need to, for example, to remortgage a debt and to change something there, or to catch up on something that you owe as well. Or another thing is to fix some problems. Sixth house can be something that's broken or whatever, to organize, repair people, to organize something that can go better, or to reorganize your environment. Sixth house is ordering, organizing. Mercury is a great manager. So you suddenly get super frustrated that your website is too messy. You want to reorganize it, put more order, systemize it. Or your files are messy. You want to systemize, organize them. Or your wardrobe is messy. Or your house is messy. Or something bugs you, so you want to fix something there, to improve it. That's what Mercury, to manage it better. So such things can crop up that stress you, but still the ultimate goal is to make it better. There can be some crisis even in situation with co-workers or workmates or employees of some sort, or work project that you have to, and some of you might even revise a work job. So like, do I want to stay here in this job or in this environment? Something has to be fixed. Or maybe there is conditions that are changing in your work environment and you need to brush up your skills on something, or you need to put extra focus because maybe they change the software at work and you have to use different, because of changing circumstances, you have to adapt to that, so it's a bit stressful. Or you may be examining, do I want this, or an old project comes to be completed and edited and improved. Or also you can dig deep into your health again. Some old health problem can recur, can flare up, so you can go into fixing your health, researching more, studying, or make a plan about nutrition, about exercise of some sort. You really dig deeper there. And sometimes retrograde periods can trigger this because of a problem that appears in that area, or it can happen naturally because you're like, okay, I want to take my health or daily routines, reorganize them, make them more efficient, streamline them better. It can come from outside or because you have this impulse. And sixth house is pets as well. I forgot to say with Rahu there, some people might get like an exotic pet or a pet they've never had, or an extra pet or a few pets. And with Mercury retrograde there, that can be a period in extreme cases that there's some issue with the pet you have to fix. In not so extreme cases, something there, take them to the doctor, whatever. It can be a good time to take a second opinion on a health condition. If you've been diagnosed before Mercury retrograde, they can discover the mistake and fix it. To re-examine your health standards and your health practices. Mercury retrograde can indicate also getting in touch with workmates from before you haven't been in touch, or if you're in any medical field, like military service or police service or social worker, when Mercury is retrograde in your sixth house, it makes you some old project come back to you to fix them, to improve them, extra communications there of some sort, extra busyness, mental activity, extra focus, extra efforts, but the final results can be 3 times better. All right, so you can feel like some criticism sometimes when Mercury is retrograde in the sixth house, and it's only pushing you, criticism that comes internally towards yourself, so you perfect something, perfect a skill, perfect certain environment, or a project, or it comes from outside, so you can address that and perfect it again. All right, and then the last Mercury, or an old job that you've applied to can come back to you during Mercury retrograde to be restarted, or to say maybe you had an interview in the autumn of 2020 and you didn't hear anything, and now they contact you, oh, do you want to start this job or this project that we talked about? It can be, oh, you can restart some project like that. Like, oh, this needs improving. I can take it up and make it better. I remember when Mercury was retrograde once in my sixth house, I realized, oh my God, I have all those transits that I've been writing for my new software. From my teacher wrote it and I edited them, and I said I'll make them into a book. So I took an old project already existing. When Mercury was in the sixth house, I edited it and I introduced it as my first book. Not fully mine, but I edited and everything. So you can do stuff like that, so it doesn't have to be something stressful. Mercury retrograde the last time of the year, from September 27th to October 18th, happens in your 10th house. And it's going to be there all the time, while Mars is also in your 10th house. So extremely busy this period for your career. Extremely busy. It might feel a bit stressful because Mercury will be making square to Capricorn, especially if you're a Capricorn from 10 to 26 degrees Sun, Moon, or Ascendant. Basically, if your Sun is there, you're born from first, you're around the 16th of January. So you have to be cautious about, square aspect is a bit challenging for miscommunication, misplacing documents, papers, credit cards, passwords, or some stress is happening with such things, or with phone devices, laptop, internet, connectivity, communications, replanning groups and meetings of work projects that get delayed, that require extra effort, more consciousness. And again, whenever Mercury is retrograde, it delays things a little bit because it requires 3 times more effort fixing things. So some work, career project in particular, can be stressful like that, or something connected to authority figures or institutions of sort that can be a bit more stressful. But during this period, and Mars is there in your 10th house from September 16th, basically, till the end of October, while Mercury is there also the whole time. For a little bit, it's retrograde there. For a little bit, it's retrograde, but the whole time Mercury is also there. So and the Sun will be there. So very, very important period for your career. Some important decisions in regards to your job, your career, some editing, having to redoing something a few times, some important conversation with institutions, with authority figures, with father figures. There might be some crisis there you have to solve and improve. But the ultimate result by November, when those 2 planets come out of there, or by the end of October, can be that you've improved your social status through the extra efforts that you put from the drive and ambition that Mars gave you there. But there are stresses, so you'll be more prone to get frustrated, plans not to go according to how you desire. But ultimate goal is that when you do the extra efforts, Mercury retrograde in the 10th house, you can really present a way better project career-wise, or have the final result in your career way better. Also, all job opportunities from the past can come back to be redone and improved. Or you might be, if you're in any mercurial career, which includes internet, communications, marketing, advertising, sales. This can be extremely busy period when you are preparing something, when you're fixing something, when you're, stresses, but the final goal might be fantastic. You might actually increase your social status, or get a promotion because of that, or get more public visibility and recognition because of the efforts that you put during Mercury, Mars, and the Sun day in your 10th house. So this is your busiest, most visible part of the year, when you can make the biggest changes with your career, with your public responsibilities of some sort, kind of on top, and you might have more increased responsibilities with managing, with organizing stuff. This is the 10th house, with structuring and streamlining, making your work, your career more elegant, more streamlined. So interesting stuff, but be careful because there will be stresses around that. But busy and productive, you'll see the final results towards the end of October. All right. And another important thing to look at is when Saturn, your planet, is invisible. Every year it becomes invisible for a little bit, which means that we can retreat a little bit from the world when it's invisible. And it's going to be invisible this year from January the 6th till February 26th. So for almost 2 months, or a month and a half, whatever, 2 months that's 50 days, January 6th till February 26th. You might feel that when it's invisible, it's like you withdraw from the world. You're invisible for a little bit. Your initiatives into new actions might be put on hold, or you might be preparing something, And when Saturn is invisible, it means it's very close to the Sun. So the Sun is the central intelligence, where planets go to get recharged, so to speak. So you who touch the sun for a little bit, it can feel frustrating because the sun burns planets, like a person feels a bit invisible, especially people that are used to having a lot of external results in reality, to get things done, go, 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 see immediate results, see practical material manifestations. Well, when one's planet is invisible for a little bit, it's kind of, you might be preparing things, but they don't become visible yet. You can't make the external changes so much. Or you might feel a little bit weakened, but only because you're withdrawing as if a little bit to get recharged by the sun with new ideas. And when Saturn becomes visible, when the sun is further away, around February 26th, there'll be a new birth. So you can start working on those new ideas that came to you during Saturn, the invisibility period. And you can start, your actions can start having tangible, real results. So you're going to come into your strength again. And because Saturn is born and becomes visible in your second house for the first time in 30 years, some new ideas that you're going to start practical actions towards financial matters, towards anything connected to material stability, and so on. So it comes from the end of February, basically. Then it's important when Venus is also in your sign, because it feels like a more pleasant time. It's good for Venusian matters. Venus is in your sign from January the 9th till February the 2nd. So for 20 days, basically. That's the time when your planet is already invisible, Saturn. It's kind of like you retreat for a little bit, but Venus is in your sign. So it says, but I'm going to bless you. So maybe if you go on holiday then, you might even meet love, or you might feel, because Venus rules your 5th house of romance in this period, till the 2nd of February. Or Venus can make you feel more attractive, or make you want to take care more of yourself, of your beauty, pamper yourself, do pleasant things that you enjoy, basically, that make you feel like a queen. And Venus can also indicate more sensual pleasures, more enjoying good food of sorts, more pampering yourself a little bit, and a little bit more of the, just like support and protection. So that's good, because while Saturn is invisible, people might feel a little bit weaker, especially sometimes even can get a bit sick when Saturn goes invisible, if your ascendant is in Capricorn, or even Sun or Moon, or just a bit more lethargic. But when Venus is there, you take care of yourself. It protects you. So any Venusian activities, dating, love, food, collaboration, can go very well. You can attract supporters. You can attract people that like you. You can, by the end of Venus day, you definitely feel more attractive, and so on. Anything to do with food, and even Venus can bring more finances to you, more pleasant, easy development of things, and more agreeableness and ability to collaborate and cooperate and see the other person's side. So you can attract people. Then Venus goes again into Capricorn twice in the same year, from November the 16th, 2021 till March 2022. That's going to be a huge one, guys, for you. Just like for the past 2 years, you've had Saturn retrograde in your planet, Jupiter for the last 10 years going retrograde, staying so long. Well, now the healing process starts. Venus is one of the healing planets, and Venus is quite nice in Capricorn. While Jupiter was not so easy in Capricorn, tends to extend the austerity of Capricorn, Venus loves Capricorn. Saturn is a friend of Venus, according to ancient astrology. So Venus will stay for quite a few months in your first house, in your sign, starting from November the 6th, 2021, till March 2022. It becomes retrograde there. And it's going to be extremely healing for some of you, especially when Venus goes retrograde. You'll go over old matters, get closure, resolve things with peace. Venus starts going retrograde from December the 19th, especially from 11 degrees till 26 degrees. Capricorns, they'll feel it the most. So if your sun or moon or ascendant is from 11 till 26 degrees in Capricorn, so for some of you, even old loves can come back. For some of you, might take a decision, important decision in regards to a relationship where it's heading. For some of you, might decide to clarify a relationship, deepen it, take it to the next level. It's a change of direction in relationships, in love, in finances. For some of you, it can make you rethink your lifestyle, change somehow your approach to your appearance, to your health. So Venus will be giving a lot of those things that Venus passing, if it's transiting your sun there between 11 to 26 degrees, that period from November till March or December till March, not this year, the one after 21 till 22 will be a period, for example, where you can achieve more harmony and beauty in your career, where you can rethink your career as well. This is the sun, to make it more appealing, more attractive, or your reputation to make it more appealing and attractive. Or there can be some deepening of relationships with the male figure, or some deciding of a relationship with a male figure. With the moon there, you can be making some changes to your home, to your emotional connections, to relationships with women, re-examining them. Are they the right one? Let me deepen them, make them more harmonious, more fair. And of course, if you're in unbalanced relationship, Venus retrograde will make you really decide to, say, okay, this contract is not good for me. Can we rethink, or this business partnership, or this marriage, or this boyfriend-girlfriend situation, something is off. Let's advise it. Let's address this issue. And if there is no response from the other side, Venus retrograde is not going to stay in a imbalanced situation. But if there is a response, you'd end up with way better personal relationships, contract agreements, improved such. And if it's not the right one for you, you can end such when Venus is retrograde. But I think overall, when Venus is in one sign, they get a lot of it's like Venus stays there so long. Even when it's retrograde, they tend to get good stuff, because that's Venus. It's good, especially material, external, pleasant stuff. Often I've seen when Venus has been retrograde in someone's sun sign or ascendant or moon, by the end of that period, they are more attractive. They're more financially well as well. They have found more peace, more pleasures, more enjoyments in life. All right. And morning, Mars will be in your 7th house from April 24th till June the 12th, which means you might encounter some stresses, not the whole period. So like the early born Capricorns, they can feel it mostly the end of April and May. Later born Capricorn, the Saturn, the second part of May, and the first part of June, depends on the degrees, but I can't give you Mars degree by degree. But that's the period when Mars is in your 6th house from April 26th till June 12th. You have to be a bit more cautious with others. They can trigger you, might be more reactive. They can be a possibility for fight, or just to write angry emails to people, to clients. And you might even take some radical steps like, I want to cut this person off. But I don't think it's, because it's passes quickly, I don't think it's like life, stressing, and it's like removing relationships forever from your life. But it's kind of asks you to be more dynamic in relationships. You might you definitely will feel more triggered by others. You can feel like there are more emotionally reactive people around you, but it's your own energy that attracts that. Also, you can get active with your partner. You can become more proactive of chasing partners, so doing activities with a partner of some sort, or you can feel more sexual drive as well during those periods. But just be careful of the trigger energy, that you feel more intolerable for others. You don't have desire to compromise when Mars is in the 6th house. It's like my way or the highway, or partners can be like that with you. But if you're like cutthroat businessman, you can really put pressure on others for deals and like sales, and you can really push things ahead a lot as well. All right. And then we said that Mars is in your 10th house from September 16th to October 30th, very active with your career, while Mercury is retrograde there. So extra 3 times more of your intellectual skills are required, of your skills overall, and Mars pushes ahead. There might be some stresses with authority figures, but again, it can be some problems that you have to solve there. All right, but very, very active period for your career. And then now we're going to look at visible and invisible planets. Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Uranus will trine your sun, moon, or ascendant if you have it from 6 degrees till 15 degrees in 2021. If it's your sun date, it means you're born around December 28th till January 6th, approximately, within this bracket. This is fantastic transit, guys. Again, as I said, you see Uranus is squaring your planet Saturn, so it's requiring you, it's asking you go a bit wild, go experiment, like I'll do what I want. I'm not just always going to be do the right thing now. I'm just going to be a bit selfish and do what I want. But Uranus is doing beautiful trine aspects to those degrees. 6 till 15 degrees in Capricorn. If you're born those days, Uranus trine indicates new opportunities that come to you. They might be especially in a romantic manner. 5th house, suddenly falling in love, but in a way that doesn't stress you, that doesn't disrupt your life. They can be sudden surprise pregnancies for some of you. Uranus trine, sun, moon, or ascendant can indicate dating someone very different than you, that infuses a very different energy on you, infusing new energy in your romantic life. If you're already with a partner, hopefully it's not a new partner. If it's it can just indicate that it brings like an exciting chapter in your having fun together, in your sex life. 5th house rules sex life, erotic sex, experimenting, maybe try some dressing, maybe dressing up, maybe try something that you've never done before, but it's not extreme that kind of disturbs you, but you'll be definitely more experimental, more open-minded if you're born between those degrees, sun, moon, or ascendant. If it's your sun date, it can mean great things from your business, new work, new careers, new path that doesn't disrupt what you've achieved till now. It doesn't involve you breaking down old things to achieve new ones, and such kind of the scary factor. No, it kind of comes, for example, you might get new creative ideas for your career or more freedom there. It can indicate that you get more, that you incorporate new technologies and new modern things, whatever it is, Uranus, rules any modern, innovative things into your business, make it more fashionable, more trendy, or your career more hip, and you have like a more public embrace. Uranus rules large groups of people, more social media presence as well. And if it's your sun date, it can also indicate like a male that appears, that a male figure or something good happening in the life with your husband, or important male in your life, something new, fresh, exciting, that they get new ideas as well. But the sun is your own intelligence, your own creativity. So if Uranus is trining it, you'll get new ideas. I just had a friend who had already Uranus. She was born on January the 4th, so she had Uranus trine her sun, and January the 4th, and she had a brilliant new idea, while Saturn and Jupiter were transiting her 1st house as well, her ascendant in Capricorn there. So she had like an idea with a new romantic interest she had as well. She had this Uranus trine her sun, and she had a lot of adventures. She had like new exciting friends. Uranus rules friendships that you have more fun with, from the 5th house to have more fun with. New exciting ways to have fun with. Maybe till now you had fun by getting drunk. Well, now you find something else that is way better, and that makes life more exciting, New hobbies that will appear in your life. And she also, when Uranus trine her sun, she invented a new business. Uranus trine sun, new creative ideas. And something can appear that you're passionate about. Plus, if it's your moon, something great in those degrees, 6 till 15. Something great can happen through a woman, in the life of your man, in your emotional happiness and emotional connections. It can indicate, again, romantic experience that comes and connection that is exciting, different, new. It can indicate also surprise pregnancy. Can indicate renovating your home or moving to a new place that you feel way more like connected socially there, like you feel a spark of joy there, or change something with your home or environment that goes well, but it's something new that excites you. If it's your, you need that, guys. After Saturn's been transiting your moon in 2019, those degrees, you definitely need this revival of emotions, of excitement. And then Uranus, if it's your ascendant 6 to 15, everything that we talked about is possible. Your appearance, that a relationship appears that is exciting, a new creative hobby. It's kind of, you feel freer, you feel more joyous, excitable, intellectually you connect to people, and maybe romantically you can find someone that you click a lot on a mental level, because Mercury is a mental planet that you want to do exciting things with. Some exciting project that is your own idea really puts you on fire as well. That's another thing. And you can even change your appearance in a way that makes you more youthful, more trendy. That's Uranus. All right. So if you are in partnership that you start, they can be innovative, exciting of any sort, because Uranus is sextile. If it's your ascendant day, sextile your 7th house. If you are born from 18 to 23 degrees Capricorn, you're going to have Neptune sextile your ascendant from the 3rd house. Here it is. Neptune from 18 to 23 degrees in Capricorn. It means if you're born from January 8th, so Uranus was if you're born from December 28th till January 6th. Neptune is if you're born from January 8th to January 13th. So Uranus December 28th till January 6th, 6 to 15 degrees. Neptune sextile if you're born from January 8th to January 13th. Or if your ascendant or moon is from 18, or sun from 18 to 23 degrees in Capricorn. Well, that's gentle, supportive influence that comes to you from friends, for example, from associates, from teammates, from playmates. You can discover 3rd house's skills. Neptune, their skills that are more Neptunian. For example, discover, interests. 3rd house is your interests and skills in something creative, in spiritual literature. 3rd house is what you want to read and what you want to put in your mind. You can find yourself inspired to read about spiritual matters, about healing modalities, about artistic, something that uplifts the soul, something that kind of like classical music and creative art and more refined culture around you. You can even connect with more Neptunian people in your environment who are into art or spirituality or kind of bohemian lifestyle without limitations, without almost like hippies, but such kind of very more spiritual people can help you in some way. It can also heal a relationship with the siblings or relatives or so on. But just let's say if your sun, moon, or ascendant is in those degrees, Neptune trine sun, moon, or ascendant, sextile, can indicate if you're in career of healing, in career of medicine, in career of pharmaceutical, of bartending, of holidays, like escaping reality. Say if you work on a cruise ship or on an island somewhere, in a hotel, Neptune rules all those things, or you have a business connected to those things, Airbnb or whatever, anything where people go to escape to a holiday, or connected to spirituality. You might be a psychic, you might be an astrologer. Well, you're gonna have, or an actor or musician. Neptune is all those things. You're going to have a boost in your career. If it's your sun, moon, or ascendant, you just own Neptunian careers, tend to go to flow easier, or you can just develop interest in such matters. It's very gentle. It refines your soul. It makes you more compassionate. It makes you more it's not so much a victimization when it's sextile, but it's more like you receive magical support from others, and your heart opens up more unconditionally towards others. If it's your moon, it can be some magical atmosphere that you create at your home, or finding a place that you feel like in a magical place, like, or your emotional connections can feel more, there's more magic in it. They can feel more soul-like connection as well with the moon. And you can improve something in your home to just make it, you can make a little altar on your home or whatever, some spiritual influence. And if it's your ascendant, it can indicate that you make your appearance a bit more gentle, softer. A relationship can appear for you that is Neptunian, because Neptune sends a trine to your 7th house if you're ascendant or moon as well, from 18 to 23 degrees, which means you can meet someone who can feel very Neptunian, someone who is otherworldly a little bit, that you have a soulmate connection with, that is very easygoing or Neptunian of sort, an artist, musician, a doctor, a foreigner, someone different than you, someone that is glamorous, someone that represents another world for you, not necessarily another dimension, but it's like comes from a different world than you, and you're like, whoa, so different. So, but it's kind of it feels magical again somehow. More romance, definitely. Someone who is more romantic, more sensitive. It opens up your heart as well. Okay, gentle energy. So if you're born from 24, 25, 26, and 27 degrees in Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, you're having Pluto conjunction. Now you're the ones who, Pluto is on those degrees from 24 to 27 in Capricorn. Basically, people born around the 14, 15, 16, 17 of January. Pluto passes their Sun. Whoa. What do I say? This happens once every 240 to 208 years only. So very few people actually have Pluto transit their Sun, Moon, or Ascendant in their lifetime. Not everyone gets to feel that. But when you do, and now you will do, this is when you're never the same after that. And it's not like, it's a subtle process. It takes almost 2 years. And with the peak now, you probably started feeling it already from 2020. That you start getting interested in more Plutonic topics, conspiracies, transformation, psychology, the occult, astrology, forbidden topic, taboo matters. Sometimes in extreme cases, it can intensify the really lower passions of a person, like passions, sexual passions, and extreme desires. It can really intensify them. But also it gives an animal magnetism to a human being. Every person who's had Pluto transit in the last few years, they were Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, and they've never looked sexier in their life. And they would say psychologically, it's like, they say it's one of the most intense periods in my life, but there is some physical energy that the Kundalini starts rising when Pluto transits, because Pluto rules the Kundalini energy, the sexual energy. And it starts rising on them, and this sexual magnetism is so powerful with them. Like they usually attract very intense sexual experiences, or very almost like people that get obsessed with them. And you might feel obsessive as well. You might feel this intensity like you've never, usually Capricorn is so cool-headed, but when Pluto transits your degrees, you become just this magnet for intensity, for sexual passion, for predators sometimes as well. But what is happening is that your Kundalini is rising. And when the Kundalini starts rising, especially if you have a lot of lower passions, they start, becoming more active. So you have to be careful with that. But only they become active so you can release them, your shadow side, your dark side, you become aware of it. Intense feelings of jealousy, of control, of desire, of obsession, of desire to control or to compete can arise in you. And when you see them, you can deal with them and you can learn to control them over the next 1-2 years. So you can learn to tune them in, because oftentimes those extreme passions and desires, they stay buried. But when Pluto comes around, they rise, because we cannot learn to control those really intense feelings and desires and passions and even darker thoughts unless we confront them. And that's what happens when Pluto is around. They come to the surface. You might start suspecting and seeing in everyone like an enemy, or suspecting and seeing conspiracy everything in everything, or you can just become extremely perspicacious and insightful and almost like reading people's minds, but always kind of connecting to the dark side. Say, if usually you're not like that, you see two people or friendly, whatever, but now everyone you connect with, you'd always almost like a magnet for the darker side of people. You'll be able to suss them out. Someone that cheats, they want to come and talk to you to discuss why they're cheating. Someone that has whatever, or you're just gonna look at people and start like an X-ray, seeing what the issue is, seeing where their bullshit is, seeing where their trauma is as well. Not only bullshit, where they've been traumatized. You'll attract a lot of such energies, and you might get very interested to understand about trauma, to study psychology, to study astrology, to understand the deeper motivations of others, because you'd be attracting such things in your life as well, in your intense passions that you arise, and you're like, why am I feeling like obsessed? Why am I feeling like crazy? Why am I feeling like sometimes panic attacks happen? Because Pluto stirs all those buried traumas that sit in the subconscious, brings them to the surface, and for no reasons you start crying, or you start thinking about things that you've forgotten for a long time. Some secrets come to the surface, or you understand some Plutonian things about power, betrayal of power, taking your power away, trust, predatory and vulnerability energies. So you have to deal with that. And often working with a psychologist or a family constellation, or digging deep into astrology, the occult, into understanding your horoscope, into understanding past lifetimes, such forbidden topics basically. Learning about life after death is the biggest remedy from Pluto transits, because Pluto wants to make you deeper, to dig deep the shit from the bottom, to bring it to the surface, to release it, and to heal you from this pain and trauma. And oftentimes, because in past lifetimes we've all murdered, in past lifetimes we've all raped, probably, most of us. So sometimes if you haven't worked through this, Pluto can even bring things like that, and thoughts like that, and thoughts like obsession, extreme desire, jealousy, desires, feelings, and control and power issues. It revives them in the head. Whole complexes that are buried underneath of behaviors, they come so they can be burnt away at the sacrificial fire, because the symbol of Pluto is a phoenix that self-combusts, and from it a new being comes out, a new phoenix bird. So that by the end of 2021, 22, you'll be a new person. You'll have burned the old baggage. But in the process of burning, it can feel intense. It can sometimes even trigger panic attacks from some people. Pluto makes you confront your biggest fears. And for us, some of the biggest fears is death. So sometimes there is more awareness of death and more such developments. You're not dying, don't worry. I've never seen a person die when Pluto is transiting their sun, moon, or ascendant, at least not from my clients. But the universe wants to turn you to such deeper topics and deep work of excavating, of understanding your motivation, so you can transform you totally and release all the mental, psychological, emotional baggage. To burn like a fever through your emotional baggage and through your toxic feelings. So it also creates detoxing. Some of you might be detoxing, transforming totally their appearance with the ascendant, with their health, a totally new chapter in their life, getting empowered, taking their power back if someone took it away. Like my friend who had Pluto transit her sun, her biggest fear is to lose her boyfriend who was supporting her. And that's what happened. They broke up. She felt jealous and stuff, but she said during this Pluto transit, she found her power again because she created her own business. So she said, I confronted my biggest fear of losing support from someone, and I created the most empowering thing in my life. So Pluto gives you whether it's over your sun, moon, or ascendant, incredible transformative power and willpower to make big changes in your life. Willpower and strength that you never had before, and focus almost to the point of mania and obsession that you can achieve something. You can transform your appearance, your health, your career if it's your sun. You can attract very platonic people in your life, scorpionic, intense, sexual, controlling. There might be some power struggle to learn how to not to give your power to another person. Or if you're the controlling and power hungry person, your power will be taken a little bit away so you can rebalance. It needs to be right balance of control. You can change your career, you can transform or create something, new project, big project if it's your sun, if it's your ascendant, if it's your moon. Sometimes might be even pregnancy or big transformation of place of living. Sometimes it might be loss of not loss, but big change of emotional relationships. Sometimes it can indicate divorces as well. Big 180% changes because you yourself are changing on a profound level, and a lot of the changes you would initiate them yourself rather than like as a traumatic event from outside. But the ultimate goal is to help you to kill the old ego. Pluto wants to kill the old ego, the old attachments, and you're reborn as totally new person. So people stop addictions and all such things. They start things they've always been afraid to do during hard transits of Pluto. They get the sexual magnetism that allows them to attract others or to fully repel others. People will either hate you or love you during this period as well. But you're learning to take this universal power and to mold it with the rising of the Kundalini to recreate yourself, basically. So there you go. This is for all of you this is for all of you who are having the Pluto transits only. And thank you so much, Capricorn. Very interesting year. A big recap is to understand that you're creating material success and material stability and career. That will be very strong, and some of you might even have, because of Uranus sextile, new exciting romantic experiences and so on. So thank you so much, and I will see you next month with the monthly horoscopes on YouTube, hopefully.